We're live, buddy.
Hello, everyone. One of the things that has come to light today is the paperwork in the missing, what had come to be the missing mom's case, the case of the disappearance of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. One of the things that we wanted to do, as always, in the interest of getting the truth out, is take a look at and discuss some of the things in the affidavits of probable cause for the arrest warrants for Tiffany Adams, for Tad Cullum, and for Cole and Cora Twombly. First of all, if you look at the affidavits for probable cause for arrest warrant, this is the paperwork filed by the OSBI with the judge in order to get an arrest warrant. One of the things that you see with state and federal agencies is generally they have built a case already before they go to get an arrest warrant. And you see here that a lot of investigation has been done prior to the arrest warrants, prior to even applying for the arrest warrants, and definitely prior to the arrest warrants being issued. The three affidavits are all pretty similar. One or two of them have a little bit of information that is pertinent to just that particular person, but for the most part, the affidavits are pretty similar. And Derek, were you want me to just read it?
Yeah, I think we could just go ahead and read it, because the main reason I wanted to purchase him is because a lot of news organizations went over there and purchased him, and I feel like, and I have no bad blood towards you, but I feel like they're going to cut and paste and they're going to try to paint the picture how they want it. I would like for there just to be an audio documentation for anybody from this area to listen to the facts.
Okay, yeah. All right, so I am reading from the affidavit of probable cause for arrest warrant for Tiffany Michelle Adams. I don't know that I pronounced her middle name correctly, but Tiffany Adams. And it says, the undersigned of lawful age being first duly sworn upon oath deposes and states as follows. I am Special Agent Jason Ott of the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. I've been a law enforcement officer in the states of Kansas and Oklahoma for approximately 27 years and served in the capacity of an investigator for over 20 years. I have read and prepared certain official investigative reports and statements of witnesses regarding the above-named defendant, and from these statements and reports, it appears as follows. On Saturday, March 30th, 2024, the Texas County Sheriff's Office requested Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation investigative services with the suspicious disappearance of Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly from rural Texas County after their vehicle was found abandoned near Highway 95 and Road L, south of Elkhart, Kansas. Butler and Kelly were traveling to Oklahoma from Hugoton, Kansas. Interviews were conducted related to their disappearance, and it was discovered that Butler was in a problematic custody battle with Tiffany Adams for the custody of Butler's two children. The father of those children was Wrangler Rickman, Adams' son. Butler's visitation with her children was court-ordered to be supervised every Saturday. Adams had a particular person she preferred to supervise those visitations, and that was Cheryl Brune. The court ordered Adams to pay Brune to supervise visits if that was who she wanted to be present. Otherwise, Butler was to choose and pay for the person to supervise. Adams said Brune was unavailable to supervise the visitation on March 30th, 2024, so Butler was required to arrange the supervision with one of her three approved individuals. Butler contacted Kelly of Hugoton, Kansas, and planned to have her supervise the visit. Butler told family members she was going to pick up her children from Adams at 1000 hours at Four Corners, the intersection of Highway 95 and US 64 West, a location in Texas County, Oklahoma. Butler and Kelly left Hugoton, Kansas, and traveled to Highway 95 and Road L about 5 miles north of Four Corners. Butler and Kelly arrived at that location at approximately 0940 hours. Butler planned to bring her daughter to a birthday party, but after they did not arrive, the family began looking for Butler. Melissa and Joey Padilla, who were Butler's family members, located Butler's abandoned vehicle just west of the intersection of Highway 95 and Road L. The Padillas then contacted law enforcement at 12:09 hours. An examination of the vehicle and areas surrounding the vehicle found evidence of a severe injury. Blood was found on the roadway and edge of the roadway. Butler's glasses were also found in the roadway south of the vehicle near a broken hammer. A pistol magazine was found inside Kelly's purse at the scene, but no pistol was found. Adams told OSBI that on Friday night, March 29, 2024, Rickman and Butler's children stayed the night with Barrett and Lacey Cook. Adams said she planned to pick them up that morning before visitation. Adams said she called Butler at 0900 hours to confirm the meeting, and Butler told Adams something came up and she was not going to make it. Butler's phone records confirmed the call occurred. However, at the time of the call, sorry about that, Butler was in Hugoton, Kansas, in the process of picking Kelly up to go meet Adams. Okay, so let me kind of recap for you a couple of things that are happening here. First of all, Adams told Barrett and Lacey Cook that actually told the judge that Cheryl Brune was unavailable on March 30th. We're going to find out later when Cheryl Brune is interviewed that was not necessarily true. And here, Adams tells Barrett and Lacey Cook at 0900 that she's not going to meet Butler because Butler has called it off, which is also not true. Butler is, in fact, at that very time in Hugoton picking up Kelly to come toward Four Corners. Okay. Adams stated that she was home at the time that Butler and Kelly went missing. Adams picked the children up before 1200 from the Cook's residence. OSBI interviewed Brune, and she said she was available to supervise the visit that day, but Adams told her to take a couple of weeks off from the visitation so Adams could question the children related to how Butler's approved visitation supervisors were. Butler and Kelly's phone records indicated their devices were actively sending signals to their carriers until approximately 0942 hours, after which the devices were no longer seen by the networks and stopped transmitting. Neither phone was found at the scene or within the vehicle, and they are currently missing. And that is as of the time of the affidavit. Adams was the last known person to communicate with Butler and was scheduled to meet Butler and Kelly for visitation at 1000 hours on March 30th, 2024. Through the child custody case, recordings were obtained where Rickman discussed death threats by Adams and Adams' boyfriend, Tad Cullum. The custody battle began in February of 2019, so this started, 5 years ago, with many hearings and court appearances. On March 18th, 2024 and March 20th, 2024, motions were filed requesting extended visitation for Butler. A hearing was scheduled to occur on April 17th, 2024. Butler's attorney informed OSBI that Butler was likely to receive unsupervised visitation with her children at that hearing. At times, Adams refused to let Rickman have his children, even though Rickman had legal custody of them. Law enforcement previously responded to a call for service where Adams refused to give Rickman his children. Reportedly, the officer told Rickman he believed the children were better off in Adams' care. Rickman's grandmother, Debbie Knox Davis, reported that in mid to late February of 24, Rickman told her they didn't have to worry about the custody battle much longer because Adams had it under control, that Adams knew the path the judge walked to work, and we will take out Veronica at drop-off. Rickman was confirmed to be in a rehabilitation facility in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at the time of the disappearance. The children remain in the custody of Adams. Rickman denied having that conversation with Knox. On April 1st, 2024, OSBI agents obtained a search warrant for Adams' cellular phone OSBI agents performed an extraction on the device. Information gained from the device included web searches for taser pain level, gun shops, prepaid cellular phones, and how to get someone out of their house. And all of that will become important as we continue to read. On April 1st, 2024, OSBI agents obtained a search warrant. On April 3rd, 2024, OSBI interviewed CW, age 16 years. CW is the daughter of Cora Twombly and Kobe White. Cora is married to Cole Twombly. CW stated that she had overheard group conversations related to Butler not protecting her children from her brother, all in reference to a sexual abuse allegation. CW advised that she was told by Cora that Adams, Cullum, Cora, Cole, and Paul Grice were involved in the deaths of Butler and Kelly. She stated that Adams had provided burner phones to use so they could communicate without using their personal devices. CW saw 2 burner phones charging on Cora's nightstand in her bedroom. CW described Cora, Cole, Adams, Cullum, Paul Grice as being part of an anti-government group that had a religious affiliation. Through OSBI investigation, it was learned that they call their group God's Misfits. Regular meetings are held weekly at Twombly's and the home of Barrett and Lacey Cook. Listen, one thing I want to throw in here too, I have no idea if their group had any affiliation with the national group, God's Misfits, but there is a national group, a nationally recognized church, although it is kind of a biker church, called God's Misfits. I have no idea if they have any affiliation with that national group or not. CW was told on March 29th, 2024 that Cora and Cole would not be home in the morning when she woke and were going to be on a mission. When CW awoke at approximately 1000 hours, Cora and Cole were not home, but came home around 1200 hours. CW knew that Cole and Cora took a blue and gray Chevrolet pickup owned by them and a blue flatbed pickup owned by Clint Twombly when they left and returned in the same vehicles. CW was told to clean the interior of the Chevrolet pickup. CW asked Cora what had happened and was told that things did not go as planned, but they would not have to worry about her again. CW was told that Cora and Cole blocked the road to stop Butler and Kelly and divert them to where Adams, Cullum, and Grice were. CW asked Cora if their bodies were put in a well, and Cora replied something like that. CW also disclosed that other attempts to kill Butler occurred during February of 2024 near Hugoton, in which Adams, Cullum, Cole, Cora, and Grice went to Hugoton, but Butler did not leave her residence. This is consistent with the web search discovered on Adams' phone about how to get someone out of their house. According to Cora, the plan was to throw an anvil through Butler's windshield while driving, making it look like an accident because anvils regularly fall off of work vehicles. While in Carrick, Texas, interviewing CW and her brother, Cora and Cole arrived and tried to get access to CW and her brother. Cora was verbally aggressive, was very upset with the affiant, that's the guy who's filling out the affidavit, that she was not granted access to CW and her brother. Cole exited the vehicle armed with a handgun in a holster on his belt. OSBI investigation showed that Adams searched for gun shops on her cellular phone. A search of local gun shops showed Adams buying 5 stun guns at the Big R store in Guyman, Oklahoma. The purchase was made on March 23rd, 2024. So by showing all these dates previous to what's going on, they are building their case for first-degree murder, which is premeditated murder. Okay, they're showing that there was a plan in place. OSBI investigation showed that Adams purchased 3 prepaid cellular phones from Walmart in Guyman, Oklahoma on February 13th, 2024. The phones were identified by phone numbers, and I'm not going to give the numbers out, but three separate phone numbers, 1620 and 2806 numbers. Search warrants for information related to location services and phone usage were completed for each device. It was learned that all 3 phones were at the area where Butler's car was located and the last known location of Butler and Kelly at the time of their disappearance. All 3 phones were powered on and accessed the cellular network for the first time in other words, they were activated at or near Cullum's residence at different times prior to March 30th. On March 30th, the 2 806 numbers before Butler and Kelly's disappearance were at the Twombly's residence prior to going to or near Cullum's residence. Butler and Kelly's disappearance at 10:05 and 10:16 hours. And one of the 806 numbers and the 620 number were in the area at or near Cullum's residence. After Butler and Kelly's disappearance on March 30th between 10:16 and 10:35 hours, it was determined that 2 of those phone numbers were at a property owned by Jamie Beasley below a dam in the pasture where fresh dirt work was located by Eurofiant. Concrete was moved from a location near Beasley's residence, approximately 150 to 200 yards below the dam, where it was discovered that a hole had been dug and filled back in and then covered with hay. The location where Butler and Kelly disappeared from and where Butler's vehicle was located is approximately 8.5 miles away from the location below the dam on Beasley's property, giving drive time from the location where Butler's vehicle was located to Beasley's property well within the 34 minutes between the time of Butler and Kelly's phones stopping transmission and prepaid phones stopped transmitting on the morning of March 30th at locations near Twombly's residence and Beasley's property. The only other thing that is added in any of the other affidavits of reasonable cause is from the affidavit of reasonable cause for Tad Cullum, and that adds the fact that he borrowed a skid steer from Jamie Beasley and that he leases that pasture from Jamie Beasley, and so he has access to that pasture where the dam is and where the earth had been moved, and that he borrowed a skid steer from Beasley to dig a hole and move some cement and bury some cement and other things like that was the explanation that he gave to Jamie Beasley. And then he came to Jamie Beasley and told him, he said, hey, they're looking at me in this case. So, I don't want this to come back on you and you to get in trouble. And so they had a discussion that way. And that's the only other thing that's added in that affidavit.
Now, again, with that conversation, does stay as it would the person whose land it was and whose skis would they be in trouble? Like
I don't think so. From the conversation that I saw, he had no knowledge of what was actually going on. It was, there's nothing there to make me, and now it is a possibility because there may be information that that isn't in the affidavit, but I don't see anything in the affidavit that would lead me to think that he could possibly be in trouble. But obviously there are some names mentioned in the affidavits that I'd never heard before I read them, like Paul Grice. I have no idea who that is, and he was not one of the 4 arrested. So I know nothing about that. Then I guess that's the main thing, that name, Paul Grice. And like I said, I know nothing about him, don't know who he is. He's never mentioned anywhere. He is not one of the 4 arrested. He's not mentioned in any of the arrest warrants. So,
okay. Well, the last thing we're going to do, we're going to probably get out of here like very quickly because we just wanted to make that information available to the locals. But I know nobody in this room, there's a lot of people in this room off camera. I know nobody in this room is a legal expert, but Norm, like, what next? I mean, because to me, like,
okay,
I don't know how it works, but to me, if there's enough of a confession where they found these women, like,
so they found 2 bodies. They aren't willing to say yet that they are Kelly and Butler.
okay.
The reason why they're not willing to say that is because an autopsy has not been performed yet. Although I'm sure the autopsy was probably being performed today, but unlike when you watch CSI and they get instant results from these autopsies, okay, in real life, it takes days, weeks, and sometimes months to get satisfactory results from these autopsies, especially toxicology and things like that. So, and I don't know that that's a factor in this case, but I'm just saying, stuff is sent off to labs for testing, and these things are not processed immediately like they are when you watch TV. Okay, so the results of the autopsy may take some time, but that's the next thing that will give us some information is when they release information from the autopsies. But to me, the main thing is, and it's one of the reasons why I want to get the facts out there, but at the same time, we've got two families here that have lost family members, and it's hard for me to imagine the pain that they're going through. And, to me, we want to try to be as respectful of those families as possible. And, just, keep your thoughts and prayers with those families because they're going through some incredibly difficult times. Hopefully, the bodies will be positively identified and they'll have some closure in this. And, but that's the thing. You've got 6 children between these two women. You've got, Jillian Kelly had a husband. You've got, all kinds of family members that, these are young women that have mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters. And, we just hope for comfort for the families and hope that these arrests will give those families some closure and some sense of justice for what's happened.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say publicly, because there was a bunch of rumors going around. There people were talking about like some kind of like meat place, and there's a meat place on Main Street in Elkhart, and I heard a lot of people say that that guy's name's Brandon. He's not involved. They're talking about it. No. Shop there. Go there and buy stuff. If I don't even know if they're open, but that guy's not involved with whatsoever. I wanted to make sure the public knew that. And then secondly, I want like what do you think the caveat of this whole case is? Like, because to me, what I can't stop thinking about, and by the way, like, I don't know, Norm just read that. I heard the same thing everybody in the audience heard, but to me, what it sounded like is there was a very brave 16-year-old kid that sort of knocked the linchpin of evil down by being brave and saying what they know. So I would just like this community to, whatever you're into, thoughts, prayers, or I want you all to remember that 10 years from now that this person
that needs your thoughts and prayers.
This person, you say what you will in your comment section, but I can't promise you I'm not going to help my kid hide a body. You never know when it comes to your family. So that person that seemed to have brought that down is a hero, and this community needs to really, really, put that out there. This is awesome. Colton Gibbs says correct bodies have been recovered and sent to OKC for DNA testing. But that'll probably do it for us. Oh, and the last thing I want to say is the whole reason this whole thing happened is because what happened that day, that this could have happened to a billion other families, because right now every weekend there are 2 adults that used to think they were cool that hate each other to the point where we have to have mediators there. And if you find yourself in one of those positions, I beg you to take 2 steps back, make yourself a little bit shorter, and try to see the world through your kids' eyes, and trying to shut the hell up and be a goddamn grown up for 5 minutes so you can switch your kids over. I mean, this is bad. Jillian wasn't the only person that was out taking time out of their day to be somewhere, because 2 grown-ups can't be in the same parking lot together without starting a fight. Like, we need to learn from this. We need to do better than this. I'm not saying to get along with the person that I'm just saying for that 5 minutes when you're exchanging kids, enough. Anybody want anything before we get out of here? We have anything to say?
I don't think so. No, just wanted to get the facts out there.
Yeah, Colton said, do it at the police station. It's just enough, guys. Like, it's enough. These kids are watching. Let's do better. Thanks everybody for tuning in.